Hi, welcome to Maggie Chats Books. Today I'm going to do my sci-fi wrap-up for the second week of September. I read 2 short stories, 1 graphic novel, and 1 novel this week. The first one I read was out of Apex magazine for January 2017. It won the Hugo Award for Best Novelette this year, and it's called The Tomato Thief by Ursula Vernon. It is a folktale, if you will, with some fantasy elements. It is set in Arizona in probably the 1800s, about the time that railroads had come to the west of the United States. And it's about a woman who lives on the outskirts of town. She's an older woman. She lives by herself, and she has a prized tomato garden. And one day she discovers that her tomatoes are going missing at night, so she sets out to find out who's taking them. What she discovers is some creatures that are a little bit different than what you're used to, and I won't say too much about them, but the story goes on for her to solve more than the mystery of who's taking her tomatoes. It was a really, really good story. I truly enjoyed it. It's obviously a very quick read because it is a short story, but I do recommend it. You can get the e-magazine online, I believe at Amazon, or you can go to the Apex magazine site and they have it for free to read. And somebody let me know that, so thank you, whoever let me know that. And the next short story I read was in the book, The Starlit Wood. This is a fairy tale called Seasons of Glass and Iron by Amal El Mahtar. And this book, or the short story, won the Hugo Award for 2017 for the best short story. This is, as I said, a fairy tale. It has to do with a girl that is the glass part, and she is sitting on a mountain made of glass, and another girl, Iron, who walks in iron shoes. They both have quite a story to explain why they are where they're at, and they come together and to form a very special friendship. I really, really enjoyed this book. It was something totally different. I'm getting more and more into fairy tales, so I think it was much different than some fairy tales I had read. It's not all happy and joyful. I think the friendship really made the story for me, so I recommend this one. This is about 20 fairy tales within this book. I've only read the 1, but there's quite a few more popular fantasy and fairy tale writers in this book, so I'm looking forward to reading other ones. The next book I read was the graphic novel winner for 2017 Hugo Award. It is Monstrous Volume 1 by Marjorie and Takeda. And this is totally not my genre. Not something I would normally pick up, but I wanted to read Hugo Award winners, and so I got this one. I did think the artwork was beautiful. It is Art Deco and some steampunk, very detailed. Then I read the story and really enjoyed it. I was totally surprised, but I really enjoyed the story. It is high fantasy, but there's an awful lot of social commentary within this novel, which I thought was very well done. The graphics did not disappoint. They are absolutely beautiful. They are so detailed. It's amazing. And I know Volume 2 is already out, so I'll probably continue with the series, which I never thought I would. You can tell I'm very surprised about this, but I thought it was very well done. As I was reading through it, there is a lot of violence. There's a lot of gross things that happen, but I think that it worked within this novel. If that makes sense. So, really good. Big surprise for me. Really enjoyed this one. And the last book that I read this week is Lakhan by Scalzi. This is a science fiction book. The author was recommended to me by Rachel from Shades of Orange. This takes place in the future in the United States. About 12 years prior to this book, a flu pandemic has gone throughout the world and killed quite a few people. It worked in stages. The flu came on. Some people recovered, some people died, some people went into stage 2, which was meningitis. Again, some people recovered, some people died, but some people were left into the lock-in state. The lock-in state was called the Hayden disease at the time because of a famous person that got the disease, and what it did was keep your brain totally active, but your body was completely paralyzed. Science was able to create an apparatus that they put inside your head of the Hayden patients, which act as a network and a computer which connected you to a robot who could work within the world just as a human would, with you laying in bed, your body laying in bed, but your brain controlling this robot. It's really a great concept. I thought it was awesome. I loved this book. I read it probably in 2 sittings. It's right up my alley. The science in here is believable. The other part of the stories are set in reality, so it makes everything else seem like it's possible. There are self-driving cars. There are different people who recovered from the meningitis whose brains make it so that they can also act as a human being in place of the HAID patients, where their brains connect together and they almost take over their body. The main character, Agent Shane, is in his first week of being in the FBI. He is called with his partner to investigate a murder. There are other events that happen. He uncovers quite a conspiracy, and it's a really good story. The book is one that I gave 5 stars to. I totally recommend this one. I was really delighted to find this author, and I went out and ordered a couple more of his books just because I thought he was pretty great. I gotta say, this week was one of the best weeks for reading. I read 4 new authors. I also read 4 great stories, so I recommend them all. If you've read them, please let me know what you thought of them, and anything else that you would recommend by some of the authors would be nice. That is all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.